Today we're going to talk about the most famous of all classical composers, and I mean the most famous. If I bring up classical music, the first thing that everybody knows is the name Mozart. Talk about a child prodigy. This kid, he started playing the clavichord at age 3. He composed his first piece by the time he was 5. When he was 8, he had written his first full symphony. By the time he was 14, he had written an entire opera. And by the time he was 18, he had written or composed 30 full symphonies. 18, guys, we're just graduating high school here. He had what is called an eidetic memory, and that means that when he heard anything performed, he would remember it forever and could write it down. He heard a mass performed that was not to be allowed to be played anywhere except for in the Sistine Chapel, but he heard it and he didn't know if it was great. He thought it could be improved, so when he got home he wrote the whole thing down, even though it was secret, and he fixed it. Despite being so super focused on his work, and it seems like that's all he did was compose, that's not true. He had a very playful personality. He loved animals, he loved pets, he loved playing board games, he loved playing billiards, he enjoyed fencing. He was also a prankster and enjoyed pranking in real life, and also would write pranks in his music. One of the things that I've always been fascinated with are his clean manuscripts. When you go back and look at the manuscript of all the great composers, whether it's Bach or Beethoven, even later on Chopin, you look at their manuscripts, they have to write pen, ink on paper. Notes are crossed out, whole lines are crossed out. But Mozart's, when he wrote music, it was near perfect. There were very few mistakes that he would fix. He probably heard every note in his head, or he was very clear about thinking before he wrote, but there was definitely some magic there because he did not mess up. Despite all his success, and he did have success when he was alive, of course much more even after he was alive, he was married to this woman he loved, and he loved his music, but life was hard also after the fact, because back then we didn't have mental health. Going through all the things that were written about him, which is many, it is believed that he probably suffered from bipolar. Now, we've heard this before with some other composers. He had such extreme mood swings. It's also believed that he might have suffered from Tourette's syndrome. There's anecdotal accounts about that where it talks about his involuntary movements and sudden outbursts that he seemed not to be able to control. He also most likely suffered from OCD. He had many rituals that had to be done a certain way, and he was obsessed with